Give me a second, guys. Right. Oh. Tomorrow is going to be not just members only. So if you do want to come back tomorrow, um, yeah, I'm sorry, I've been a little bit slack lately. Hello, Ariana. How are you? Hello, Megaha. How are you today? Ariana and you are the first ones in. What's your question today, Mikhail? Mikhail, are you having a trouble putting down questions or you can hear me all right? Yeah. Well, seems like you can hear me all right. Okay. How are you today? Well, he's definitely focused on you. The hardest part is with this is at the moment he's scared of losing you. And he's really focused on money. He's not focused on keeping your love. There's kind of how can I explain from this? I would feel Mekha that he's trying to satisfy your parents' demands or show that he's a good provider because there's kind of like fear that you're going to be leaving soon or he's kind of feeling today is member day. Yeah, so this is the last day and then tomorrow is everybody else. The King of Wands in reverse, he's very focused on you, very playful. So I don't think it's gone away, but he's focusing on just earning that money, kind of um I feel like building a stable foundation, Um any questions with that? Like how are you today, Arita? Um I'm going good. Yeah, so I feel it's hard because he wants to put in the work, but he knows that if he keeps working, he might lose you. So there's kind of this conflict inside that he knows that you don't need this. You want to be with him. So you might have to give him like some kind of reassurance that you're not going to leave while he's busy trying to earn things, you know? Uh, Arita, do you want to put down your first question? Oh, that felt like it came out. So yeah, it's going to get better for you very soon. Obviously you can't please everybody. I feel like that's going to be the case. So there might be some aunties and uncles that might, you know, um, how can I explain this? There's some doom bringers in your family, the ones that kind of predict things not going well for people. And I think this is just their personality. You're not going to make them happy. I don't think they're immediate family. I feel like they're just, you know, branches of the family that always kind of say this. And you just have to realize that. But yeah, your parents will see how hard he's working. So I feel like they have a fair judgment after a while. It's just like at the moment, they do worry about you. That's kind of like this possessiveness around you. It's like you're like the only woman in your family, or you're the youngest of your family. And so therefore they really um have this feeling that they need to look after you. And I don't think that you need to be looked after. They just kind of have that possessiveness, you know? Any questions with that, Mika? But yeah, the cards are saying this will resolve soon. I think it's this year, at the end of this year. So yeah. Overall, I do feel that your parents are starting to realize how earnest he is and how honest he is. So, you know, I would say August from this. But it might be petering over to, you know, September, but it feels like it's more in August. So there you go. I'm okay, I guess, but still want to sleep a lot. Ooh, do you know why? Arita, please say about last Friday, A's actions. Why was he like that after party stage? There's kind of a little bit of scaredness here. Rogue, welcome in. I I call you Rogue, but it's Rouge. Welcome in. How are you? Yes, of course. Give me 1 second to do Arita's, and then I will get into yours. So there's scaredness. There's something that this person was scared to do that they kind of did after the party. It was just like that weird thing. I weirdly enough, I'm bringing up a party, Arita. Why last Friday? You know, it might not feel like a party, but it feels like a party to me. Ace of Cups in reverse. His heart's full. And with this death card, it was like resolving, or, you know, something got resolved here. I think honestly, Arita, like he was wanting to tell you something that's been on his mind for a very long time. And because his heart was kind of full at the moment, he didn't do it in a very nice way. And I think there was this amount of alcohol maybe in his system that caused him to kind of be a little bit more um, imbibed. I guess that's what I would say. Um, but this cycle is ended. So it seems like they needed to tell you something, you know? Um, yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't even think Arita, this person would remember. A will remember talking to you. It feels like at that stage they were quite, intoxicated, and so that's kind of weird thing because I don't think that you're going to get much out of this, you know? Um know that they're being quite honest, you know? So I feel like they were being very earnest, even though probably, being under the influence, it was not great. So yeah, do realize that there was quite a lot of truth in that. Okay, next question's Arita. Um, what is Liv Livia thinking of me after we talked? She is a sister. Okay. I think your sister is quite a protective sister. Because I'm getting a picture on my one of my sisters that's very, when I say something that is the truth about someone in the family, she becomes very defensive, and she's like, "You're wrong. Like they are so and so," and I'm like, "Okay, well, they they still need to be." So I do feel like your sister rises to the occasion to defend other people. I don't think that you're wrong in a way. I think you're. How can I explain this without like you feeling bad for it? I feel like you are the family's truth teller. So there's a lot of times in the family where there is one person that sees the truth in things and tells the truth. Now, this is quite frustrating for family because a lot of times family, whether they like it or not, lives in a certain amount of self-deception. So the truth teller can be kind of, you know, hello, divine soul, welcome in. How did everything go today? How you feeling? Let me know how you went. I hope that you went well. But she's thinking of me, positive or negative. Um, I don't think she likes the way that you say things. Good, divine soul. So she'd rather you say things. Okay, let me know how that goes. So, Rita, she doesn't like how you say things. And this is a hard thing because whether you like it or not, around other people, you can be a little bit. How can I put this? You tend to want to be blunt and honest, even though it might not be the best chance. So maybe not blunt and honest, but you tend to be oblivious of signals. And I think that because you think that it's the easiest way for you to get around, like talking to people, you always do. So I would say at the moment negative, and you should focus on the present, not focus on the future with this. So honestly, I would talk to your sister. I think you're holding back because you're like, oh, I've annoyed her, I made her, you know, um, defensive, or like my sister. Weirdly enough, that one sister I don't get along with very well. Mostly because I'll talk about something and she'll start crying, and I don't know where to go from there. So, um, it could be just to realize that you guys are very, very different and know what is going to be a trigger for her, so you just don't talk about it anymore, you know. Mekha says she is that man's A sister. Well, I feel like this is still the same Arita, but I always think, weirdly enough, it seems um, like I'm talking about your sister. So you mean that you're going to get married in the future? I don't know. She seems closer than, um, so, hold on to that because I was thinking, like, in my brain, I was like, wait, why is she not your sister? Like, it felt very familiar, and I was like, maybe you guys get married in the future. Because that was coming through very strongly. Rouge says, may I ask for general in June and advice? Of course, Rouge. So, June seems to be very good for you. So, there seems to be that you are going to be very cared and protected. Um, the cards say walk away from things that are not serving you. So, there seems to be a feeling that you might be holding on to things without like any hope of these things turning out to be good, and that you should walk away from them now, even though the cards say probably for June you won't see any new options coming in, but you're cared and protected for, so someone out there will look after you, you know? So that's important for you, is that kind of feeling of that. Um, that's important. So I don't know whether this is change your job or change of address. It seems like a lot of things you're going to walk away from. You're going to be like, well, these things are not serving me anymore. But I think that you tend to worry so much about what's going to happen in the future without realizing that most of this, you're getting stressed out a lot, about the kind of, forward momentum of that, you know? And I would say for you, stop thinking of things like what we do sometimes as humans is like a sunk cost fallacy. You're holding on to something because you go, I've put too much time, I put too much energy into one something for me to walk away. But if it's not really working out for you, you might have to walk away before you really have that options opening up for you. Okay? So that's what's coming into June, and a little bit of advice there for you. Okay. Megha says basically, my family is delaying talking about my marriage and trying to separate us so they don't have to confront me with all this conversation about my relationship. They could set me elsewhere. It's always hard because family always thinks they're right, and it's just annoying because most of the time they tend to forget that they used to be in the same situation as ourselves. And that's kind of a funny thing about that, is usually you have the same thing, just, and they could see like how hard it's been for them, so they try to stop you from doing the same thing. But when you think about it, the apple doesn't stray far from the tree. um I've been feeling very anxious from the past few days about our do you see anything I need to know, or is it all in my head? You've got to realize that art and you are very different. And this is down to, I think, views on doing things. It's not, um, it, it doesn't feel like culture and religion. I think that you guys have gone past that, but it's kind of like different ideas how to raise the kids, or things that will probably matter in the future, that you need to understand. So you guys are very different, and you need to kind of converse with each other. This might be time to like ask like the 25 questions that will make you fall deep in love, or like really important questions like, if we both died, I know that's a morbid question, but what would you want to do? Like, how would you, you know, because there's a lot of things that you might think we've got a whole life together, but sometimes these are important questions to kind of ask. Um, Also, things are going to move very slowly for you, so just take time, breathe instead of, I feel like you're holding your breath very high up on your chest, and that's really setting off the anxiety. Not just like I know that you're kind of having this like kind of thing, what if it doesn't work out? Well, if it doesn't work out, it was never meant to work out. If you guys are going to still be together with as much force or pushing for your parents, then you always were supposed to be together. Realize that true love is kind of these certain things that force us apart, and if you can still come together after all of that, you know you're meant to be together. But there's a lot of things that you might have to realize that are so different from your points of view that you might have to kind of figure it out. And you've got to realize which one, like, which differences you want to kind of fight on, or which types of differences you want to accept. Because sometimes having a strong viewpoint's okay, but having a strong viewpoint on everything drowns that person's voice out. And if you don't have a strong voice and you're always letting the other person win, then, it's always going to be harder. There's compromise in a relationship can be quite easy, but at the same time, if you kind of keep on compromising yourself, you're taking bits of yourself and remodeling them to be okay for your partner. And sometimes you lose yourself in that process. So there you go. I know that was a very long talk, but you eat today? I did. I didn't just have like one thing of food. um, are you a little bit worried? Yeah, last time I was like, I've got to start streaming, and my food was downstairs, so that was like 5 hours of not eating. Not that like you might not seem like my arms are quite skinny, decently skinny, but I definitely have like big legs. If I showed you the like my thighs are like this big. each one. Obviously, decent looking legs. They'll carry me forever. But yeah, it won't matter. Like, I'm sure that I won't need to eat for a week and I would still be fine, you know? So, um maybe a month would be, yeah, a month would probably be like not so good. I think after a month I would look like one of those little stick figures, you know. Um I don't think I'd be a human being anymore, but a week would be fine. Don't think that my body would be um that bad. Not that I have ever like not eaten for a whole week. Um Month for everyone going to give results. Mate, I'm not going to trigger anybody's eating disorders here. Please eat. Um some people would be really skinny in chat right now, and you're probably like, sorry, off tangent. I will go back to Divine Soul. But I had I have this friend. I don't talk to her much anymore. Actually, I don't talk to her at all. But one point of time she came out and she had done an allergy test, and all these things that she was allergic to, pretty much allergic to life. And she was telling a story that she'd gone down to, like, we have a beach in the UK called Brighton, and it's like stone rocks, not really that, like waves, cold water, not a beach, but down there's quite a decent wind, you know. Um, and she was saying to us that her boyfriend had to hold her down or she was going to get blown off to the sea. That's how skinny she was. I was like, oh man, that would never be me. Um, yeah, I've got Scottish and Irish ancestors, and if you don't know anything about Scottish, yeah, they're kind of like small and stocky just because they didn't get blown off mountains. So, that's kind of like where my DNA comes from. So, um, if you've watched Lord of the Rings, yeah, we're all a bunch of hobbits. So, there you go. I hope that you laugh at that. So, Divine Soul, what's the current feelings of E for me? How did he feel after my last message? His next actions. So, current feelings for E for you is very overloaded. I feel like the E's got very sensory overloaded because it feels like too much. It's like he can't like keep holding on to this. He's got too much um in his mind. So he's like bit off more than he can chew with his current feelings. So this is not good because even though there's like conflicting emotions, there's like anger, love, jealousy, joy, everything's going through. So I don't, it's weird because I would feel like with this that he's still very much in love with you. So emotions coursing up. So that's the hard part. Regarding what? It's like messages. I feel like he gets a lot of your messages and it's just like weird. Um so that's it. That's the interesting thing. Um Yeah, we can clarify, but it feels like it's not needed to clarify. Like at the moment, a lot of this is, yeah, the cards are saying that the emotions are overwhelming. So it's like, how can I explain it? You don't even need to be in that. So, so that's the clarification card. So this means you're biting off more than you can chew, you're taking on too much, and with these emotions, it's like overwhelming. So this is usually the sign that sadness has taken over, or just overwhelmingly, negative emotions coming in. So it's kind of like his emotions are just too strong. And if you want to clarify what I've said, this is 4. No, sorry, give me a second. 6 of Wands, and the other one is 8 of Cups in reverse. Both of those are in reverse there. So there you go. Um, at the moment, he's feeling after your last messages that he's very different from you. There's kind of like this disconnect. And it could just be that a lot of times you might feel like he doesn't care in at the moment, you know? From these feelings, so I'm going with these colors here. So this is green. So this is jealousy. There's happiness. There's love here. So the red is love and the purple is um it's kind of weird because there's like jealousy, envy. So it could be that he's just wondering why you can be so happy. So it's kind of like he still loves you. And that's the weirdest part is like all of this emotions carrying around. Um I feel like normally we find that E is very cup like. So cups are very much, they let their emotions take over them. They're kind of like the carrier of the emotions, but they do overflow. And I feel like the trigger has been like the messages you send, but it's not just the messages. For me, that kind of undercurrent of like emotions, especially the sadness, is coming from um not wanting not wanting to let you go. That's the big thing that I would say. Not wanting to let you go, but not holding on to you because he knows that he's not ready yet. And and things just being too much for him. Like I would definitely feel like it's just too much. Like at the moment he's dealing with too much, which is a normal thing for Owen. I feel that's what I would say. And the the other one is next actions. I feel like he wants to talk to you, but he has the feeling that you're not going to listen to him. So he might wait and then talk to you later because with these emotions, he might translate across not being good. Like, how can I explain it? Like, when we're emotional, we tend to use different words. And I find that my partner doesn't realize that I'm going through a feeling, you know? Um, I think honestly I would keep on messaging him because there's some kind of undercurrent of like wanting someone to listen to him. So yes, keep on messaging him. Um I asked the pendulum, like, keep it light. Don't, like, obviously you can talk about you're going through, but a lot of times he needs to um deal with this emotion. And honestly, at the moment, what I would feel from him is like, and I can't prescribe anything. I'm not a doctor. But one thing that seems to be a thing that I would definitely feel for him if he's not really working on it is maybe some antidepressants, because I feel like if he's been sad for this long and he tends to be quite a happy person, there's kind of like this needing to get himself back on track. Um, I don't usually sit there and go, okay, well, maybe this person needs something. But a lot of times, like, like, some people are too fast to prescribe something, but I'm not a doctor. But if he can't work through this is going to be very hard for him. How if he's not taking help? Honestly, we cannot change people. People need to help themselves. So, the first, like, the first thing that people need to do is admit that they need help, and you're not there to help them. They need to work on themselves. And so, therefore, they've got to go through this bit where they realize that they need help. And I think this is going to be very shortly for Owen, because when we get to a certain point and things become too strong for us, we need to kind of step away and go, hey, like, there's got to be something else that's the issue, not just one thing. He's not talking. Also, keep on sending messages, because I do feel like you're still helping. Just because he needs someone to talk to, and sometimes having that open connection between you guys is better than keeping it closed. Notoriety is investing my case of selling apartment without permission, though they're asking for a lot of money for investigation. Will it go in my favor? Okay, so the weirdest thing is, the cards are saying that you might have a not great judgment. So therefore the judgment is negative. So if you're going to court, then they might rule against you. However, this is due to someone being missing or neglectful. So this is the hardest part, is like, at the moment you might have like hard time going through this. But the Page of Swords is like, you're going to be anxious about the future, but everything after a while is going to be good. It's just, at the moment, I think that you would have to go through this investigation to deal with the other side. So it's kind of a hard thing for you, because I understand it's a lot of money. I feel wheel enough, there's kind of like this feeling that it's 2,000 euros. I don't know, is it more? Because I'm feeling like that's the money that's coming through for me. Um, it's funny because I do feel at the end of the day you get what you want. So, like, honestly, I would say yes, but I'm gonna ask the pendulum and see if it backs up my statement. So, yes, that's kind of a feeling that there's another way to do it too. It's not just like one way to do it, there's like another way, but it might be longer and might be more tedious. So, oh, okay. So, over 1,000, but under two. It's weird. I got that 2,000 euro. I think yes, unfortunately. Sorry because you've gone through a lot of like paying for lots of things lately, and I feel bad that you have to pay for something else as well. I think with this investigation, you might not get what you want out of the investigation, but because you've done the investigation, then you get what you want out of it. So it's like, well, we discovered something else, which means that we can sign this now, you know, where you go, oh, thank God for that. Like, I already told you that. And now I had to pay for it. It makes perfect sense for it to happen like that, that bit where I'm still waiting for my citizenship, my British citizenship, but I'm like, it's gonna happen. And it'll probably happen in the next 2 weeks where I get a letter and they're like, oh yeah, you can get your passport at like your citizenship award. I have to book it in and go. But it would be so funny because I'll be like, well, I waited like nearly 6 months for this, and it's annoying. But it's not serving the purpose. It will serve the purpose because the investigation that they're doing will they'll understand why you need to sign without a signature. Does that make sense? So you might sit there and go, okay, well, I've had to pay this money, but the notoriety will be like, well, now we've gone through this, I understand that you need to have that signature. So it could be just like, oh my god. Does that make sense, Divine Soul? I think you do have to have this investigation for you to go through all the bureaucracy that's behind it. Unfortunately, I wish that it was different. Zeb says, does FA miss me? Um, I feel like they would say they don't miss you, but I do feel like Seba. It's weird because, to kind of quote Shakespeare, the man doth protest too much. So it's kind of like, oh no, no, I don't miss her. And he's making too much fuss that I would say yes to that. Um, he feels like he missed the chance with you. So you're the one that got away. And he thinks that um you kind of understood him, that you kind of brought out the best in him. And that's kind of sad to say, but that's coming through with the cards here. I would say yes to that. Give me a second, because the Page of Wands upright means that yes, you would get that. Even the pendulum says yes. I know it's been a struggle, but yeah, you'll finally get to sell it. Arita says, please, I know what wanted a what's it, the A told me that Friday, because after Friday I'm confused, a lot of confused. Love is upright is love. He doesn't want to be friends. He wants to be he's in love with you. He doesn't want to be friends. Page of Cups, he has been thinking about that so long. And I think that he was like dodging around the issue because he was like, maybe she doesn't like me. But with the love is upright, this is obvious. This is a very simple, like, I feel like A is telling you very simply what he wants, but because you're thinking that there must be something behind it, you're waiting for, like, the shoe to drop on the other foot, but no. Rouge says, may I have a life for you from the past and my future. Okay, so your life review to this point, your present and your future. So, your past, a lot of times I feel like your family, or I don't know. I'm wondering whether you met your birth parents, or there was kind of this feeling of that you might not have been raised by your birth parents. It's kind of a hard thing because there seems to be like some kind of absenteeism from your parents. And so therefore I was going to say they taught you fear, but I don't know whether that was your parents or you were always left in big situations that you couldn't handle as a kid. Without being very scared about the outcome. So you were always being very tense, holding on to things that you are clinging on to things that you felt safe with. And then when that safety got pulled, you know, alienation, this card, I was scapegoated. Yeah, it's just like you had safety and then they would pull like the safety from you and just laugh as like things just didn't work out. So a lot of times when you're feeling like, and I feel it's weird, like panic attacks in the dark. It's just like if you're kind of like having a very like, and I don't know, like this is weird because I feel like that kind of like anxiety, the panic attacks happen at night, which is a weird thing. I don't know. Are you feeling like that physical panic attack? It's weird because that's kind of coming through as past. you might have dealt with some things and they might have helped, but I still feel like you're going through some of this right now. The present card is like, yeah, so it's weird because like it only happens in the dark. So it's like late at night. And I think you might have to like calm down, maybe drink some chamomile tea, maybe meditate, kind of reduce that kind of anxiety. It's weird because I'm feeling panic attacks. And it's weird because there's a difference between anxiety and panic attacks, and I've had panic attacks before. I don't normally get them. It's really bad if I have a panic attack because my life is pretty screwed up by that point if I'm having a panic attack. But the present card is like you're focusing too much on the future when you should focus on the present. Um, you're always rushing things lately. And I think that you need to slow down. And I know that looking at your state of your life right now might be very uncomfortable. Because I don't think that you've got what you wanted yet. So there's kind of like this feeling maybe around failure, feeling hurt, feeling, that nothing works out for you. When I don't think that you realize how far you've come. And sometimes you get really like wound up because you're like, I'm supposed to get somewhere yet. And you haven't realized that you've gone through all of these things that some people wouldn't have been able to survive through, and you got to that point. So that's a big thing for you. In the future, the cards are saying, look, you're going to get a very loving, very um like loving partner that kind of gets you. Like doesn't need a lot of I would say this person gives a lot without any expectation of return, you know. Um always there for you. Very patient, very willing. Um Probably has become from a broken or abandoned place too. So they've gone through quite a lot of things as well. And they made a promise, like probably 11 or 12, that they would never ever put someone through that again. So it's kind of like this person's kind of on the opposite side of their trauma. They've kind of healed. They have gone through quite a lot, and they might not tell you straight away. So you might, as they start talking, and you might be married or you might have gone through this yet, and they get to that point where they tell you a lot of their story, and you'll be sad because you'll see how much they've had to change for themselves. So that's important. But I think that you don't realize how far you've come and how far you're going to get. And I think that you'll be happy because I feel like there's a beautiful life story that you'll be able to tell your grandkids. Or, um, you might even foster some kids of your own where, like, you adopt them in from places that they might have not got love as well. So I do feel like you have a very big family in the future that you'll be able to like. I feel like you're always laughing in the future. And I don't know whether it's like gardening and then cooking. I see you like singing and dancing with them and just having a good time, like almost that that feeling of like the Italian family where like everyone's at the table, everyone's talking, you know. You come in and you've got like your sun hat on because you've been out in the garden, and they're just like have a seat at the table, and you're just so happy. It's like I feel like you just realize that why you had to do these things is so you can be happy in the future and realize that you're happy. Because a lot of people are never happy, and you will definitely be happy because you'll be like, right, I see that why I was there. And yeah, that doesn't excuse what people have done in the past. People are absolutely assholes. And especially family, they should never done that to you. But you know, when we realize like how grateful we are, it's just like amazing because we realize that we always had a right to be happy. There you go. Okay, next question before I start crying. Everyone gets karma. And I said then go, I don't have to see it, you know. Sylvia says, will I get the job at I? Why haven't they contacted me yet? Okay. It seems like yes. You will get this job at I. Why they haven't contacted you yet is because they had some really good applicants. So they're going through every single one of them. They really liked you though, Seba. It's kind of weird because I think that you came through as being a very caring person, and I think that you were really connected with the people that were interviewing you, and you're like, great, that's awesome, you know. Do not cry. Oh, but I'm just one of those people that wants everyone to be happy, you know. If the bosses at I give me that job, should I take it? Yes. Yes and yes. Yes. So yeah, Ace of Wands, yeah, this is definitely like 10 of Pentacles and 9 of Pentacles. So yes, I would definitely say yes to that. Those are all good cards, you know? I said to my mom, I was like, and I was talking to my sister because my little niece is now 2. So she's the oldest of, you know. So my my sister gave my mom her first grandchild. And so that's kind of a funny thing where it's like, oh, okay. But it was kind of funny because my mom and my sister, like, she's like you, and I had to go through all my like childhood trauma and go, oh, is that a really good thing? So I've been talking to my sister because I was like, one thing that my mom growing up was like, when she left the house, because there was like, I'm the oldest of 4. So there's like all my siblings. And growing up, my mom, when she left the house, she was like, "Yeah, you're responsible for them." And it didn't matter even if she hadn't left the house. It was always you're responsible for them. So if they got in trouble, I got in trouble. And it was just like, I said to my sister, don't do that. That was bad. um, yeah. It means that I have a personal thing of being feeling responsible for people, even if they're not family, even if they're not friends. I still have this feeling of responsibility, and it's not good. I think everybody has like something that they could sit there and go, my parents did not do well, and that was one of them. Okay, so it was juggling them all, and these came out for you, Rogue. Rouge. I keep on saying Rogue, and it was Rouge instead. So that's 6 when I wanted 3, damn it. It was kind of like, okay, so freelance career. Okay, so the freelance career is don't scare be scared of the sky is falling down on your head. So this whole thing is you might feel like the sky is falling down on your head. Things are not going great. Things are just not working out for you. And the cards are saying this is because you're trying to control it too much. You should allow less control, because what happens is when we try to control for every single thing, every little thing becomes a big thing. And our brain doesn't know the difference between a little thing that we're worried about and a big thing. So the cards are saying, relax. Try to stop controlling things, allow things to happen, and then go, okay, we'll fix it later. The Nine of Swords, your energy is going perfectly where it needs to go. So don't worry about that. And Page of Wands, you're kind of going on this new adventure. So you might need to kind of think of it as an adventure instead of like, okay, I'm not doing anything right. Realize that you don't know everything yet, and that's okay. You can figure it out on the fly. So the finances, this is a weird thing because I feel like it's the first year that you've done this. So it's kind of like there might not be as much of the finances for this year. And it's just because you're learning, you're new. I don't think that they're saying that it's okay, you're going to be able to pay your bills and everything like that. But the death card means that there's a new cycle beginning. So a lot of the problems that you've experienced are going to be very shortly over, and you won't need to worry so much about your finances from a state of going, okay, I need to pay this, I need to pay that. It'll be fine. Ace of Cups in reverse. Um, what can I say about this? Ace of Cups in reverse. Hmm. There's kind of like you might be taking too much in. You might be saying yes to everything, and you should be saying no to a lot more things and raising your prices more. So I know that it's very hard because even I want to say yes to everything. I want to be able to say yes to everyone's tarot readings and stuff like that. But sometimes when we say yes to everything, we kind of dilute our work. And a lot of times people will pay for perceived value, not actually what they get. So it's kind of a weird thing to say, but sometimes people will be like, oh, well, that was really worth something, when they get exactly the same thing. If you look at the like brand names, okay? So you go into Chanel or, um any of those things, you're getting the same products. You're getting the same product. It doesn't matter what they've said, oh, this is real crocodile leather. You're getting the same product. And usually they're still the same manufacturing. So we go into the store, the person greets us, we might have a glass of champagne, and we walk out with a 500-pound bag, it's exactly the same, you know? So you've got to kind of think, okay, why am I diluting myself when I could do a better job and get like get people to pay me more? So you've got to think about that for a while and figure out why you're kind of sitting there going, I can do more work and charge less for it. Okay? Right. Okay, give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a break for a second. Yeah, I'll be back. Sorry, I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay. Right. So, what do you do as freelance? Let me know, because I'm always interested. I'm always interested what people do. May I know what R's plans are for the future? What's his thoughts on the relationship? Okay, so at the moment, his plans for the future are just to keep on forging ahead and to achieve what he set out to do. So I think honestly, he's really trying very hard to get where you guys need to go. Whether it's putting down like a deposit on a house, like everything working out for you guys. So honestly, I think R's a very truthful person, and he tends to be very um how can I explain it? Not persistent, but tenacious. I guess I would say tenacious. So he puts in a lot of effort, and I'm very sure he is going to do what he says he's going to do. So there's kind of like this feeling of drive, feeling of purpose right now. Um, and what's his thoughts about our relationship? He feels kind of like you're not on the same page as him, that you're kind of like siding with your parents a little bit too often. And this might be that you are, if you take an Enneagram test, which is Enneagram, like, the weight measurement. It's a certain test for personality. you might come out as a peacemaker, so you're always trying to keep the peace. So therefore, if someone's like, oh, I'm frustrated with the family, you're like, oh, they didn't mean it that way. They're always, and so therefore you're always trying to brush over it. And I think R's kind of a little bit frustrated with that you might back him up a little bit more. And I can understand why, because you really want to make sure that your family sees a kind of better side of him, and you're trying to make sure that you don't make your family angry as well. So it's hard because I feel like you're stuck, but maybe agree with him more. Maybe when he gets frustrated, you're like, I understand they're a little bit hard to live with. Just go with that. So he starts seeing that you really want the same things as him. You want to kind of play with this, like work as hard as him. Because I feel like at the moment he sees himself as being alone in this endeavor when there's two of you. Okay? Right. Do, 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 do. How's everyone in chat? Always changing, sometimes customer service calls, etc., but always remote opportunities. Oh, okay. Rich, I feel like you would be great at writing stories. I don't know why, but I feel like you're missing your kind of opportunity to like do your job remotely. And after you finish your job, you should write a book. I don't know why, but I feel like you're perfect for it. Cool, nice feeling. And flowers? Oh, I want flowers. What happened to my white dress? Why was it never delivered? Ooh, the packaging got damaged. So it got lost in transit because they didn't have the right address. It feels like the packaging really tore, and so therefore they lost their address. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm still feeling like you're going to get it. How are you going to get it if it's damaged? Maybe there's like a tracking number and it's going to get delivered that way? That's weird. You're still going to get this dress. Yeah, and I feel like it's this week. I don't know why. You'll be like, how did it happen? Like, why did it rock up? It's weird. Trying to figure out why it got delivered, but your seller's not gonna be able to find it too. Like, yeah, I think they might send it to you again, and that might be like how you end up with two like letters. Like, I feel like you might get like two white dresses at the same time, which would be absolutely hilarious because you'll be like, now I've got two dresses. How, you know? It's weird because I feel like it's coming to you anyway. with like it might just be that there's a tracking thing that's not on the address itself, so they'll be able to track it and know where it was going, which is weird. I don't know, but I feel like you're gonna get two white dresses and you'll be like, I only wanted one. Okay. Uh, Rouge says important channeled messages from my higher selves and guides. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of like this feeling that they know you're going through a lot right now, Rouge, and they're trying to sit there and go focus on the present. Work on your anxiety. There's kind of like this feeling that maybe your diet and your lifestyle are not helping your anxiety, and they're like, if you could meditate or, kind of work in foods that will lower your blood pressure, lower the anxiety, that would be great. Not everything around you needs to take on your attention, and I do feel like there's a lot of things that you're not really wanting to do that you might have to just do anyway. Like me, like booking in for something, like someone sat there and like I've met them before, and they're like, oh yeah, like you can ring up my dentist, they might have like spaces available, and I'm like, oh cool. Have I done this? No. Have I been very disorganized? Yes. So it might be just trying to like tick off things off your plate that you've been waiting on to do, that you've been procrastinating on doing, because they're like, yeah, this will help as well. Any questions there, Rouge? It'll be awesome. It's better to have two than none. That's true. That's true. I was thinking of like the pictures of Labradors that have white dresses on. Like, when they come to um like a wedding, and so it's like the bride has a Labrador, and they come up the thing wearing like a white dress, like a white wedding dress. All I can see is that. And I feel like that's so cute. Um, Arita, is Tom bisexual? Like tutus? Like, honestly, it's so weird to have, like, humans are weird species. When you really think about it, like, a dog or a cat has enough fur. Why do we need to dress it up and put tiaras on it and call it like Mr. Flu Flu? And you're just like, we're just idiots, you know? We also domesticate wild animals like cats and dogs, like Jesus Christ. They have to put up with us. You know? Is Tom bisexual? I feel like he certainly has like a feeling of, I would say, curious. I wouldn't say that he would call himself bisexual. Probably bi curious. So like this feeling that he goes for women, but he has this curiosity of like, um like Perry's I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It. There's kind of like this feeling, oh yeah, if I kissed a guy, it wouldn't be a bad thing, you know? two twos. It's for us. Um, I used to do ballet as a kid. Um, I did it for a year, and I was at the last bit for like ballet, and I'm sitting there, and they've got us like crazy, like almost like with like we're kneeling on the floor, and we have like these butterfly wings on, and my ballet teacher comes across the stage behind us and kicks me in the butt to make me like and I was like, okay, my legs are not going to go any lower. And after that, I was like, Mom, I'm not going to do ballet anymore. She's like, oh, well, that's good. um, yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't say he's like, uh, I wouldn't call him bisexual, um, because he's not, but curious, yes. And I would say that maybe when he gets older, he would say that he's bisexual, but at the moment, he's not. Yeah, that was about like you know that surprise Pikachu face that sometimes people put on the internet. I don't know whether people know Pikachu. That was my face after she kicked me in the butt. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. I went to Girl Guides instead. um, Mikhail says, "What does R want from our relationship? Are they pressuring him to get married or move on from me? And if yes, will he agree?" I would definitely say yes. They're kind of pressuring him to like move on in a way. I don't think that they're being particularly nice to her. Um, what he wants from his like the relationship he has with you is to stay, to physically stay with you for the rest of his life. He doesn't want to move. He wants, home is where the heart is, and the heart is definitely with you. um, so he's not gonna ever say yes to like moving on. He wants to get married to you, and he's really focusing on money right now. So I do feel like he just wants to really prove them wrong. I think that he knows that you really want their approval, and he's working hard to get it. Um, were these questions Divine Soul? Because I feel like I already answered these. So you asked, why does Owen feel we're different? What's stopping him to communicate? Does he want me to walk away? I thought that I did that with your reading that I already did before. Let me know if those were questions. Guys, I am one of those readers that tends to skip through things. If you're asking me a question, if question 4, question 5 is good and a question mark, even if you don't put in like the number that your question is, if you put in a question mark, I'll understand it's a question. Okay. Let me answer this one from Sebaha, and then I'll go back to yours. That's okay. Sometimes I sit there and go, I feel like I already answered that, but like because we're talking at the same time I'm scrolling down, I'm just making sure that I kind of don't answer things if I feel like I've already answered them. But yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's just it's easier for me to, deal with them if they've got a question mark because then I'm like, that is definitely a new question. It's all good. You do not have to apologize. I'm just telling you so you know why I skipped them. Um Ziba says, "Why does DJ love you?" And it's interesting because I feel from this, then DJ doesn't really love you. Sorry, that's my nose. Because he really isn't putting effort in this relationship. And when the Knight of Cups, there's like him living in his headspace and escaping or being physically free. So this feels like he's ready or kind of leaving this Ziba. Um, it could just be that he's decided to move on, because that's what I'm feeling from these cards. Divine Soul says, "Why does Owen feel we are different?" Mm. Stopping to communicate. Does he want me to walk away? I think you're a very optimistic person, and sometimes I feel that you tend to treat things differently. So I would say this is kind of like money or upbringing that's really coming through. But it's like you have never really had a lot of money. And so therefore you're kind of from that bit where you just have to make things work. With Owen, I do feel like he came from some kind of privilege. So that's a big thing for him. What is stopping him to communicate? Um, he's kind of walked away from a lot of his life. I think that he's really walked away from a lot of things. So it's kind of like what's stopping to communicate is like he's trying to like let things go. Um and because you kind of like remind him of sometimes the past, he's not really trying to like keep on talking. Um Kind of weird because I think this is a good thing because he's kind of running away from things. Does he want me to walk away? He does in a way because he knows he's weak. He knows that he's not a strong person right now. And he wants you to do better. He knows that you could do better. So he doesn't want you to kind of not have a good chance of a new relationship with someone else. You know? What negativity has he found in your messages? Hello, Siren. I will do your question straight after Divine's. Okay. Okay, so negativity. It's weird because I don't feel like you've been overwhelmingly negative. It's just like a weird then thing where I would be like, with the High Priestess in reverse, there's a feeling of incompleteness here with the messages. Like you might have, like, he doesn't feel like you've written them for him. Like if, like, you could talk to another friend like him, you know. So there's kind of like this feeling like, oh, you just wanted someone to talk to, you didn't want to just talk to me. um which is him projecting. You know, this is not to say that I think that you have written messages for him. He's just assumed that, you know. Sorry, that was a yawn and a half. That you would have written this for someone else. What kind of messages did he expect from me then? Um, he expects like messages of heartbreak, like you moving on. So it's kind of a weird thing because he's expecting that, you know. When will we communicate? I feel like sooner than later. I do feel like it's sooner than later because I do feel like he's worried about you. That's why he's going to communicate with you. And I do feel like it's weirdly either tomorrow or next week that you guys communicate, because I think he will ask you how everything went, because I think that you'll tell him that you went, you know, for operation, and he wants to know how it went. Okay? So that's what's coming in for you guys. Um I I think he will accept that. I don't think he'll be happy about it, but he will accept that, yes. Because I don't think that he likes himself right now. And I don't think that you're going to make him like himself. It's weird because I'm feeling like he'll contact you because he's worried how you are. That's one thing that's coming through for me. So Zarin says, when will N go? Will she keep coming back? I feel like N's not going to go anywhere. I think she's embedded in a lot. For you, Zareen, will she keep coming back? Yes. I don't think that she's really comfortable leaving. Um like she's cemented in. I don't think that she's going to leave, even though I think that a lot of times people have told her to leave. She is not going to leave, unfortunately. But thank you for the donation, there's Irene. Yeah, you're very welcome, Divine Soul. I'm going to grab a coat because I'm starting to get really cold. It's 13 degrees here in the UK, but I'm getting cold. So I'm going to put a coat on because I don't know about you, but I can hear my voice shaking, and it's just because I'm cold. So I'm going to go and put on a coat. And I'll be right back. I'm sorry about that, everyone. Ooh. Ah. I think I've stopped shivering, or at least a little. Oh, it's supposed to be summer here. Oh, no. What happened? Oh, I don't know what happened to my chat, guys. No, it's got bulked. Let's see if I can scroll up now. Okay. Right. Guys, can we stop all questions until I got to the end, please, guys? Because I have a long time to get through everybody's, and I need to get through everybody's. Okay, so Mick Hart was asking about um R's family instead of her family. Um, they are very accepting of R's choice. They want R to kind of experience the world um before really settling down into a relationship, like into a marriage. But they do realize that he really likes you, and they realize that you might be struggling right now, but you know, in the future, guys will get ahead. So in general, they want both of you guys to be happy, and I think that's the best part. So they're really opening and accepting of this relationship, and they want you guys to get married. Siba says, "What is I am's karma for hurting me? Will she be handed the same treatment she wished on me?" I feel like there's some kind of depression coming up for her, but overall, it's kind of a hard thing that I would say to you is that she's not going to be handed the same treatment as she wished on you, and you're not getting the same treatment as what she wished on you. So there's kind of this weird thing where I would definitely say, Seba, a lot of times karma is very different to what people wish. um, so there's kind of like this feeling of depression, like this kind of falling into depression for I am. Um, and there could be also what happened with why she was treating you the way she did. Now, that doesn't mean that I want to justify her actions because that's not okay. But I do feel like when we go through something and we're in pain, we tend to lash out to other people. And the one thing that you could do, Seba, is treat her with kindness. You don't need to be around her anymore. I'm very sure you're not around her anymore, but just treat her with kindness. Realize compassion is the best kind of course for us to deal with someone like that. Um, but yeah, she's going through quite a lot of karma. Depression is not great, and in general, it's not gonna be great for her in general because the way that she thinks and acts. Obviously, she could think about herself being very privileged, but I think a lot of times she doesn't realize that. Rita says, "Do you see Arthur asking me out dating, or is he going to be shy all the time? We see each other on Fridays." He is going to ask you out. It's just going to take him a long time, and he's going to ask you out on for dinner date. So, um, give him next month. He's kind of working up to it, and you might have kind of pushed this back because you were very oblivious. So, Arita, give him a chance, but he'll probably say, I'm going out for dinner. Do you want to come? And, yeah, that might be as simple as saying yes to that and realizing it's a date afterwards. But, yeah, that's kind of like the thing. Divine Soul says, "When will me and Owen be together again this year or later?" I feel like it's this year. The lovers have come up quite strongly. Yeah, it seems this year. Owen doesn't seem to be dating anybody else or seeing anybody else. So I think you guys will be back together this year. I don't feel like it's going to be that long because it kind of feels very strong. So I would say this like coming month. It's weird because I'm feeling like this coming month or the months after because it's kind of like on the fence, you know? Um, it's very fluid, you know? But I definitely see in the next 2 months. So, I don't know why I'm choking. I don't know why. Okay. Right. Divine Soul says, what is Owen jealous of? I'm not doing anything that will make him jealous. Does he think I'm happy without him? I think the weirdest thing is that you're making him jealous because you are naturally a happy person that goes through life being, very optimistic, go with the flow. You don't tend to have the same pressure as Owen trying to conform to other people's values. And I think that you always land on your feet. So you're very, like, you have a sense of luck to you. I don't think that you would call it luck, but other people would call it luck. So it's not, it is kind of a weird thing because this is what he sees right now, and it's going through like him feeling very, lost, alone, disillusioned. There's kind of like this disillusionment of like no one's ever what they say they are. Everyone's out to hurt me, or and I don't think it's like you're not wanting to hurt him. He just feels that way, and it's okay for him to just kind of work it out, you know. Megha says, can you see if R and I are meant to get together and get married? It's feeling like you guys are. It's weird because there is a lot of things that are going through. So let me ask the pendulum because with the cards they're very inconsistent. So I'm going to ask, but yeah, so it's a yes here. It feels like you guys have to go through quite a lot. So with the Page of Wands, there seems to be this ability to kind of be very optimistic. You're both very optimistic. I do feel like you guys get together. But one thing that you guys have to probably do is kind of put off having kids. You guys will have to work out, be established before you have kids. So it's going to take you guys a while to have kids. And not everything's going to work out great for you. So there's going to be some kind of struggle. But I do feel like you guys are, yes, are meant to be together, even though, you know, you might have a little bit of hiccups, a little bit of setbacks, and that's okay. That's all right. Okay, guys, slow down the questions so I can get to the front of this because, um, if I kind of like, I can't see anybody is like, if you're making a comment, I can't see the comments because, um, I'm using OBS and normally it's great, but my OBS chat has kind of died on me. So that's usually how I can like take your questions and like answer you at the same time. But so realize that I'm flying in blind. If you have any more questions with your card reading, realize that I can't do that right now. Okay. Sebaha, will FA make a comeback? If yes, then when and what situation context? I feel like FA comes back, yes. Um, I think this is to do with a divorce. Things don't work out, and you guys get back in contact, and I think you guys end up being together because I think that you guys realize that you kind of worked well together, so you guys are going to be together. Um, but it's just because um, FA has to admit that things are broken and they're never going to get fixed with this relationship, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's going to happen. So, my nose is kind of. Sometimes it does this, and I don't know why. It just happens. Okay, how are you mostly perceived by people? Okay, so at the moment you seem very scared of other people in your style. So it's kind of an interesting thing where I I feel like you hide your um uh, in this might not make sense to you. So realize that this is the case. You know, Devil's Wears Prada, where she's like in her first wardrobe, where she's kind of like got like a sweater on and very oversized clothing, and it just doesn't like show off her body whatsoever. I think you do that, and your kind of style at the moment feels like you're wearing things that don't flatter your figure. Like you're kind of lost in them and kind of uh like an A line, and you're kind of not straight. Like you have like curves and you could wear things that accentuate the curves. So I think that you're not dressing for your body. So that's an interesting thing that I would say to you. The other thing that's coming through is a messy wardrobe. So it could be that you need to work on like capsule wardrobe. So anything that you pick up, you can wear together. Um, that's one thing that's coming through a lot is like things don't suit each other. So it's weird that I would say and messy and it's kind of another thing. Like sometimes slobby, but I feel like it's a weird thing that I would feel if you dress for your body shape and you dress like, you know, um I think that people would see that. I think also your hair right now, Rouge, like you don't wear it done up. And I think that it would be nice to see you in a lot more French bun styles and stuff like that because um that will work so well with your like people perceiving you different would be like a lot of times like you're so close to being elegant, you're just not there yet, you know. When please setbacks. I think after you get married. When please for what? No. So FA and you will get back together. Unfortunately, this will happen after he gets divorced. I don't think you break up at all. Okay. Right. Rita, now, please now, what is Arthur thinking about me? His feelings. At the moment, he is not really thinking a lot about you. He's being very, thinking about a lot of other things. But mostly when he thinks about you, when he's reminded of you, he's definitely the lovers, a very strong love bond, and you're a very caring and kind personality. So he gets very warm and fuzzy when he thinks about you, but most of the time he's not just that like I understand where you're coming from, but he's kind of like thinking about food or other things, but when he's reminded of you, this is what he thinks about you. Very strong bond. I couldn't hear understand the last part. Yeah, so yeah, there's kind of like he's going to get divorced and come to you because the love is upright. That's a very strong thing. Okay. Thank you guys for waiting on your messages so I can get through everybody else's. Just because I can't see the end when I. So I have to scroll and come back up. So just be patient for me, please. What's coming in for me with a lot of partner art in the month of June? Any positive changes or improvements you see? Well, the whole idea is you might not see a lot of art in June because he's kind of going to be working. So you might feel like lots of things don't change for June. However, he will feel like there's progress. Like there's kind of like this feeling that he's got lots of things under control. But I do feel like you're not going to see him and you're going to wonder what he's doing, but don't worry, you'll be fine. So, Rouge says, if I try writing, would I be able to come up with an actual story? Would a good agent try to buy it? Okay, so the temptation is to feel like there's kind of like this feeling that in the past someone told you to never do anything like creative, or someone made fun of you and you kind of like think of this. So the temptation is to always feel like you're never going to do it good. The cards are saying relax. Kind of like write a story that's kind of like something that you would like. Instead of like writing a story for other people, write a story for you. Like something that you would like. And yes, you will get a publisher to publish it. I don't know whether buy it, but definitely publish it. So yeah, you'll get your book published. Um, Weirdly enough, I was feeling like crime, like a detective one, or fantasy. I don't know why. I think you're good with imagining things. But those are kind of coming through for you. So I definitely think that you would be very good at writing books. um, Seba says, so DJ will not marry me. Go back on his word. I think so, yes, to this. So, Seba, I would definitely say yes to this. That's alright, Aretha. You're very welcome. Thank you for being patient so I can catch up with everybody. Question 10, is DJ a player? I'm wasting your time. I don't know where the player's coming to my mind. More than someone that's very optimistic. So DJ is very optimistic, and I think he's scared of losing you, but at the same time, he tends to promise things too much into the future without realizing that a lot of times they aren't his to promise. So even though I think he honestly tried to say that, um, I don't think he's ready for marriage. Marriage scares him, you know? So if he got to that point where he had to marry you, he'd probably run away. And I feel like that's the thing that he tends to deal with a lot, is this kind of over conviction, and then he just can't deal with dealing with it, and he tends to run away from his problems. Zeba says, it did FA go through his divorce? Not yet, but I think this is going to be soon. He's looking at how much he would owe her if they get divorced. So there's a big chance that he's already kind of looking into it and really not liking what he sees. Rooch says, channel message from my true soulmate. I hope I haven't met him yet because I don't want a relationship with any past person. I feel like this is a new person, but the channel message that's coming through is to believe in yourself. Don't doubt your brilliance. So I think, like, honestly, this person is your biggest cheerleader. They sit there and go, don't worry, everything's alright, everything's okay. Look, you've got everything. You are amazing and wonderful and funny and brilliant. And you shouldn't doubt yourself. You shouldn't make yourself feel bad. um, because I think that you don't believe in yourself. And that makes them angry. It makes them upset that you tend to not think you're good enough. And they're like, you deserve all the things. You know, you deserve everything. Like, if I could pull down the moon and the stars for you, I would. Um, yeah, I think they would tell you every single day that they're very lucky to have you. Sorry, I'm making the cards are making me cry. Um, so cute, such a cute. Like, honestly, I didn't say that. They said that. You'd be like, "Oh, I love you." It's like, shut up. I love you too. Um, yeah. I think that you have a very uh, how can I explain it without it being like you have this friendship, a little bit of competition, but you have this friendship. You might be friends before you come soulmates. Like, not your soulmates already, but before you become married. Because I feel like you have this kind of um really beautiful friendship under everything. Like, he doesn't care if you're sick or, um, and like, you guys are just wonderful together. I think that you guys have a really good life together. And I think the biggest conflict when you guys meet each other and you guys develop this is like you become friends and then you don't want like to mess up the friendship and you both mess it up at the same time. I think it's because you guys end up kissing each other and then you're like, hey, this was supposed to work out. So, um, kind of cute. Divine Soul, we haven't we haven't got to yours one. The ones that I did, there was ones like I did the Elwen's jealous of. I haven't gone up to your next one, which is money, the issue between us. Um, what question six? Oh, oh, I did. Sorry, I completely blanked that. Sorry. I saw question 7 and didn't see question 6. Oh, sorry. Um, I'm glad you reminded me. I was I was so blind on that. My poor little 3 of Swords is starting to, Okay. Is good. So yes, I would definitely say yes, he's going through a tower moment. What is it? He's struggling to keep it together. What, like, technically, it's a reaction of the reaction. So he's kind of gone through divorce, gone through his business just, collapsing. And now he's dealing with the whole idea of him struggling. And when we struggle with the whole idea we shouldn't give up, um, he should give up and walk away from things. Um, Even though this is going to cause him immense heartbreak, I think he just has to realize that that chapter of his life is over and to start a new one. So it's kind of like what's going on with his job. Will he be leaving the current job? Yes. So he's kind of seen like opportunity on the horizon that he can go for. So I do feel like he's going to leave his current job. Um, I I think that he's gone through a lot of this struggle without realizing, like, without the emotional. So women are very good with emotions. Like, we'll process our emotions the same time as we're going through things. You know, it might be harder for us because we'll start crying a lot and, um, dealing with all that kind of thing. Hello, Sarah. Welcome in. But it's just like I think that he's already got divorced. Yeah. I think it's already done. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird thing because, yeah. He's trying to hold it together and he just needs to have that emotional breakdown and just deal with that. Yeah. So he's kind of gone through like everything and kind of dealt with everything, but he just needs that like breakdown where he kind of yells, screams, throws things, just like lets it out because he hasn't done it yet and he needs to. But yeah, that divorce is over. That's been finalized. I don't think they needed to go to court. I think that he kind of wanted it amicable. So, she probably took quite a lot. But he didn't want to argue about it. He didn't want to fight. Megha says, may I please ask if for anything R wants to confess or say to me, anything he really doesn't want to express or wants me to know? Um, he's afraid, he's very scared. There's a lot of times that this is coming up for him. So he's scared that you're going to leave. That he put in all this hard work and you still give up and leave him. And he doesn't know whether he can actually satisfy your family. Oh my lord. My nose is like. a tap. I apologize, guys. So he doesn't know whether he can satisfy your family enough. So it's kind of like he's trying, but he doesn't, he kind of still has doubts. He doesn't also want to admit how much he, like, is so connected with you. So, like, you are the thing that he wants to come home to. That's the only thing that he wants in life. Which I don't know, like, sometimes guys don't like admitting weakness. And that's one thing that he's definitely scared of, is like not showing you that he is tough, he's capable, that he knows everything. It's a big thing for him to be like, yeah, I've got it. I always have it, everything's fine. You're very welcome, Divine Soul. Okay. Okay, so Divine Soul says, is money the issue between us? Does he think he's more well off? I don't think it is the issue. Um it's weird because I think in some ways he probably would justify that as the issue, but it's not the real issue. So how can I say it? So when people say something, they justify something, but the real issue is underneath. So they try to justify it as you guys are so different, or you guys come from a different background. What's the actual issue is he's anxious about wanting to be married again, about wanting to be with you like this, and also that he tends to be someone that loves very, very hard. And he can feel that with you. And this is driving him very anxious because he. How can I explain it? He trusted his ex to be there forever. And that's the biggest thing that he felt, was that they would be together forever. And it didn't work out like that. It just didn't. And whether he likes it or not, it just fell apart for him. But he is drawn to feeling like he will get married to you, and he's feeling like drawn to being together with you, like really putting his energy into this relationship with you. That's the hard part, is that feeling. Um, Mecca says, has R told his family about my family not agreeing for a marriage? What's their opinions on it? He hasn't told his family about that yet. He's kind of kept it close to the chest because he doesn't want them intervening. Because I'm sure his family wants to show your parents, like, that they're good people, and they might feel like it's their fault that they're not accepting it, when R wants to prove that he can do it himself. No need for family to intervene on his behalf. But I do feel like his family comes as a unit, so they tend to be very um possessive, I guess. That's what I would say. Rouge says, when do you perceive my mental health strengths will get back on track? Do I have karma for not being able to be courageous in the past with past bullies? I think so. Yeah. So there's a couple of things that the cards are saying that you can work on that would help your mental health. So the first card is to stop chasing money, allow money to come to you. The other thing is to make more friends or develop more friendships because that's important. With Ace of Wands, um, yeah, keep keeping completing goals. So there seems to be something that's coming in for you that's achievement based, that you will get an achievement of some kind, which would change the way you perceive yourself. But the cards are saying these things you can work on. And so these, yeah, so making more friends and stop chasing money, allow the money to come to you, will definitely change your perspective and change your health, your mental health. How are you today, Sarah? How you been? Sigma, so will FA and you have a long and happy, loving marriage? Which one do you want here? I feel like it's this one that you want. So, I do feel like you do have a very lasting relationship. You do have to realize that you guys will have to unpack quite a lot. So, people around you are going to be quick to judge because I think with you guys getting married, they will think this was the end of FA's relationship, was that you were the ending, not that everything else happened and then, what was the ending was everything else. And sometimes you will be questioning a lot of what FA will do because you'll wait for him to leave you. So there's kind of like this feeling that you guys will have to work on this relationship. It won't be easy, but I'm very sure you guys will try your hardest and you will work through the things that come up for you. But I do think that you guys are lost in this marriage. Ooh. I'm losing my breath here. I don't usually lose my breath, so that's a weird thing. Last in a good cozy way or a fight? No, I don't think you guys fight. Um, I think you guys will have to go through a lot of things together. But overall I do feel like there's a relationship that lasts. And I think that it's good because you're both very independent. So I don't think that you guys will have to work really hard at keeping yourselves together, because I think there will be a lot of independence. Like, you guys know what to do, or, you know. So I think your relationship will be based around mutual respect, which is a good thing. So the one thing that I would definitely feel is that you will have the same um relationship as my mom and dad, where they have kind of very different personalities, but they get along quite good. This does mean that you guys will still have fights, but I do think that you have a very long relationship and a lot of compromise as well. But because you're both a little bit stubborn sometimes, I think that you guys will have to work, you know. So, yeah, I think that you both will respect what you bring to the table in the relationship, and you'll work through it. Okay. So, Sarah's questions. So, what does B Taurus actually think about you? So, there's temptation here. There's also good news. So, this person seems to be really drawn to you. So I would definitely feel like they're tempted by you. But also, like, one thing that Tauruses tend to have, which I feel like is very unfair because I'm Taurus, but we're considered very lazy because we're very laid back. We take a long time to do something. Um, and this is because we're thinking about it, but we're also kind of putting it off. We procrastinate. So there's kind of like this feeling that they're very drawn to you, but are they acting on it? No, they're kind of relaxing, allowing you to take the step if you like them, you know. But they're kind of just sitting there waiting for something to happen when they should really have been doing something about it. Sarah says, "What does Jeffrey Leo?" Oh, Leo's a trouble, but I'm in Taurus, so you know, Leo's a trouble for me. Actually, no. We have a lovely lady next door, and she's Leo, and it's hard because Leos are interesting. They're very different from Tauruses, and I think that they can come very too much for a Taurus. I think like Leos tend to bring out my competitive side, and I don't tend to be a well. If I ask my partner, he would definitely say I'm a very competitive person, but I don't think I'm normally a competitive person. So what does Jeffrey Leo think about you? This is interesting with King of Cups. So Leos are fire signs, but this one is definitely in their compassionate, they're loving, they're giving, you know. So it's kind of interesting. They could be a cusp, so they could be a Leo something. Or you know, sometimes when we are Leo sun sign, it doesn't mean that we are a Leo in our Venus sign. So if you're doing any astrology, your Venus sign is what you normally interact with other people when you are dating people or when you like people, you show that aspect of them. So there's a very loving, caring personality when this person's dating people, and you have that caring, you know. So this is a weird thing because the anxiety, which is a normal Leo trait. I feel like anxious is something that Leos tend to not show but feel. Oh, weirdly enough. Give me 1 second. I'm going to, get something to blow my nose because don't worry. I'm like, sorry. Like my whole nose is kind of blocked up. It might have just been because I was too cold. That could be a thing. So, yeah. So, this Leo is kind of like dissatisfied looking at the future when they should focus on the present. So, it's kind of weird because I feel like they're loving and caring, but they don't want to be. So, it could be just that they feel like they're always taken advantage of, that they're always, being hurt. So they're really not thinking that you care for them, or they're justifying that you wouldn't care for them. So this is the hard thing because they're really kind of wrapping themselves up in their own thing. They're struggling with themselves, which is a thing, you know. When will you get the job with VA working with the homeless? I'm going to ask the pendulum, Sarah, because that will help me with timing. I've studied some of it. I wouldn't say that I'm good enough to look at birth charts and know exactly what people are doing. And I want to learn more astrology because I find it very fascinating. Like the whole idea of people having certain aspects on themselves and why these aspects are so important to themselves. That's a big thing. I have Venus in Scorpio. So you're Scorpio in Venus. So you can be kind of like Scorpios can be weirdly enough very jealous. They can be they want to know where you're going. They want proof. They can be. They can also be slightly romantic. So you've got to think of the attributes of a Scorpio. So if someone hurts you, you sting them. So but these are the things that you show in love. Does that make sense? So Venus signs are so depending on which ones. So I think Mars is work, but Venus, your house, your your sign in Venus is your love. So I can't remember which one I'm uh in Venus because I'm Taurus, but I can't remember any of the other signs. So it would be interesting to look back on my chart. But yeah, if you want to know like who you are in love, then you have to look at your sign in Venus because that's important. I think your 13th house is like how you deal with dying or death. Um, but it's been a while since I checked and I researched stuff. But yeah, so Virgos can be, jealous, possessive, if they feel like you are hurting them, or, they'll sting you. So that kind of comes up in love for you. So you have to realize if those aspects are coming up very strongly, then you have to deal with that Scorpio aspect. Also how to reduce how you feel about this. Like, why do you always feel it's justified to attack? Because sometimes they won't be attacking you, you know? So, Silverheart says, will my fever go away by August 2023? So, there might be some leftover fever. So there's kind of like this feeling that something won't be fixed, but I do think that it's going to be helped, you know? No, moon is so sun sign is what you show to other people. Moon sign's what you show to yourself. So that's the interesting thing. The moon sign's that underneath. So technically you'll show that to your partner or close people, but this is usually your private sign. So when you're actually looking at Venus, Venus is the love sign. So moon is your private. So this is the interesting thing is like if you're going to a party, and I don't know much about Pisces. So if you're going to a party, your sun sign is the one that shows up to a party. But the moon sign is how you react. So therefore, let's say you're Leo sun, but you could have someone like another moon, like in your moon sign. So you're having a great time as a Leo, but your moon sign might be like, I hate it here. I want to go home. And your sun sign's like, no, we came to the party. So your moon sign is like the internal dialogue, your personal self, versus like the way that you show the world yourself. Does that make sense, Divine Soul? So yeah, the fever will ease. There might be some leftover remnants of your fever. With the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Wands, so the Wheel of Fortune is trust the universe, allow it to guide you, trust your intuition. But I do feel like your fever is going to be gone or very dramatically reduced. So yeah, it's always interesting because each one is different. As far as I know, Mars sign is your work. But yeah, like you are correct that obviously the moon sign would come up while you're dealing with someone in your love, but that would be your Venus sign would definitely be what you portray in your love. So your moon sign would still be out. You would still see it, but it's kind of like the one thing that you hide. Thank you so much for the donation, Siba. It's weird this week. I've got a lot of 1111. Not 1111. Triple one. Sorry. I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay. I really don't want that right now. Thank you for the notification phone. It was trying to agree with me, I think. So when will you get the job with VA, the homeless? I feel like it's like next week, Sarah. So it's next week. Okay, so Rita, I will do the pendulum because I do feel like. So I think you get asked out this Friday, And so therefore next Friday you go. So it's like 2 weeks. So it feels to Rita that you might get asked out very casually. So you might think, okay, we're going out with other people, and it turns out that you're going together. So don't be surprised if you go and think that you're going out with multiple people and you just have dinner together, okay? Sarah, why do you feel off balance with your anger? At the moment, your body is trying to. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very strong amount of anger too, Sarah. So, it's interesting because that anger is coming out of you very, very strongly. And it's like, at the moment, why you're feeling this anger, why you're experiencing this anger, is because you feel unsafe. You feel like your body might feel unsafe, not your mind. So sometimes the weirdest thing is like a body keeps track of things or keeps stored of something. So you might even not know that you're feeling unsafe or you're feeling, the body is reacting like the sky is falling down, everything's not working out, and so therefore it's coming or expressing as anger. And you might feel like on top of everything, everything's going great for you, like your career's on track or something like that. But the weirdest thing is that because this is expressing itself through, so how can I explain it? Your body needs to be heard. So you might feel like you're the same as your body, and I tend to fundamentally disagree with people now. Your body is, yes, part of you, but sometimes people don't listen to it. They don't listen to why it's feeling this way. And it's getting expressed through anger because it might have been expressed through sadness before, but with anger, it you actually have stopped to listen. You're like, this is not alright. And so therefore sadness might have been something that you experienced before, but you weren't listening to it. You were kind of pushing through. And this time, because there's anger, you're stopping. Hello, Katie. Give me 1 second, guys. I love you, Katie. Can you give me 2 minutes? I know you will. And Sebaha, I will do yours as well. I did see it now. But I'm going to take 2 minutes. I will be right back. Okay, guys? I am so sorry. Thank you for your patience. Okay, Seba, I'll do your question first, and then I'll definitely do yours, Katie, as second. Will you be financially abundant? Yes. You will need to learn a little bit more about um managing the finances, but you will be very happy. The one thing that I would definitely feel is the High Priestess in reverse. You guys can work on a little bit more effort of bringing those things in as tangible assets. So it kind of feels like the money flows in, and then you guys need to figure out how to move that and make it work. But yes, it will work for you guys. Okay, so Katie, how realistic? Okay, so okay. Um, so there's anxiety on this thing, and I would say that there's kind of like a feeling that you would make e-commerce work, but I would say you don't just follow a guru. Um, I would say that you'll be able to make something, um, and you'll be able to work from home, but you'll be able to like access the world. So that's good. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's e-commerce. It might be like a virtual assistant or, something to do with the internet, but I don't know whether it's like selling something like a drop shipping. I would definitely feel like it's not drop shipping. The cards say kind of tidy up, figure out what you want to do before you do it, and don't chase the money. Do it for like the enjoyment of doing it. So whatever you feel drawn to is possibly something that you love doing. Don't kind of get caught up into something that you won't. Wheel of Fortune, trust the universe. You're guided in a certain direction. Allow the universe to carry you wherever it needs to take you. With the Hierophant, definitely find someone in your life that kind of does the thing that you want to do, because and you know that they enjoy it and you enjoy it too, because a lot of times you need to ask this person for advice because that will be very important for you. So I feel like this person not online, I feel in real life. There might be a connection or link to them being online, but I do feel like you met this person before. Um, I don't think there's any more questions. So don't feel like this is a website or a drop shipping website. So there you go. Thank you, Katie, for the donation. Doreen? When will Kay's divorce take place? Will it happen? Please to give details. It's weird because I'm not feeling any divorce. Let me get the rest of the cards for you. I will also ask the pendulum because I'm getting mixed signals here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're going to get divorced. Why I'm feeling that is because the pendulum's very strong and it's like sitting there like with the sun. This is happiness or joy or radiance, and this is for wands, which means a marriage. So I feel like everything's right in the world with the page of wands. There seems to be seeking new future, and justice upright seems like a fair justice. um Nine of Cups is the happiness of a relationship. So this seems to be like really working very well. With this, the ego means that a lot of good things are coming in for them. The one thing that feels like a disconnect is this. And this is the anxiety of things going wrong or things going bad or things just not working. And the Hermit in reverse. This seems to be Kay like hiding away, being scared of this happening. So the the thing is that this is showing me a non-divorce. Those Kay is scared of this divorce. So I feel like this is not going to take place, or it's not going to take place at the moment. So even though it's predicting the future, I don't feel like, uh, this is kind of coming there. It's like, even though it's case scared, I don't think that it's going to happen. And this is because this in reverse is like illusionary. Like nothing's going to happen. Not everything's alright. So I would say no. Like they're not going to, get divorced. And with like the pendulum as well, it's backing me up, you know. Do I have energy? I might go through and all the other questions and then I might get to yours, Siba, and then finish up because I am really tired. I might need a nap. Um, Thank you, Cyrene, for the donation. I'm sorry that I couldn't give you like a divorce date because from the cards they aren't getting divorced. Okay, so we're back with Sarah. How does Johnny the Capricorn feel about me? So his heart is full. I don't think that he really wants to be with you. With the Page of Pentacles, this is like being very oblivious with love. And with the Ace of Cups, the heart is full. So I feel overall like this person's really dissatisfied with, the connection. So I wouldn't feel like they're really wanting to, the romantic connection feels non existent here. Do they want to reconcile romantically? I I just think it in the past they probably would have. But they feel like there's just been too much time, too much space. And they've hurt you a lot. So even though they know that you would want to reconcile with them, I don't feel like they think that you would keep doing that. Uh, Keep on having that connection with them. Okay. Megha says, "How does R perceive me as a person and a partner?" So at the moment, this is hard because this is at the um moment. So at the moment, R sees you as not seeing a lot about the future, that you're getting very frustrated about the future. Also, it doesn't seem to like trying to create more money. Um, with the High Priestess, you're not trying to work on creating something tangible. So you haven't kind of. So at the moment, I feel like R is kind of feeling like he's doing all of this himself. Like he's doing everything alone. And he's feeling frustrated about that. So at the moment, he doesn't feel supported. So there's kind of like this feeling that before, yes, I would definitely say like a good wife and mother. It's just at the moment he feels so alone in this kind of um ganging up on him, I feel. He tries so hard and he's just like he doesn't realize that you still appreciate him. It's kind of like that hard part where he's struggling and he's just going, well, Divine Soul. Why is my uncle bothering me with his lies too much? Is it my aunt or him making stories about him? I feel like it's more your aunt, unfortunately. With the lovers, he definitely backs up his wife, but it's just like the hardest part is that it is her, but he has to believe it or he has to, always back her up because if he doesn't, then she gets upset with him and starts like I don't think hurting him, but she always makes it hard for him. So he has to always, you know, so there you go. Okay. And a J. Okay. How will I introduce me to the friend? I get um so the thing is that how will R introduce you to a friend? I feel like you guys are walking and then R introduces you to his friend. It's not like a very formal introduction. Do you have to do something about it? No, you don't have to. I feel like you're completely oblivious. Um, and you might be even scared of like getting introduced to him because he's quite handsome, and you just like suddenly, if you're anything like me, I blush very quickly if I like people, you know? So that's an important thing that I would feel from that. So yeah, no, you don't have to do anything, and I feel like it's a very a prom like a very surprising thing. So you guys are going to be talking or walking, and then you get introduced. Zeba says, how will my sex life with my future husband how soon to marriage will you get pregnant? I would say like 1 month into your marriage you get pregnant. Um, your sex life might be a little bit underwhelming. It might be that your husband won't kind of know a lot, so that could be a thing. Even though he wants to look after you and you don't take care of you, he might not be great at sex, and you might just have to work at it, you know. Um, it's alright. You guys will might have to learn the same time. Um, it's just like sometimes guys need to learn. Sometimes they've done enough practice, but I would say yeah, lots of learning. Um, so Aniche says you said a friend will help me get in to see university and I'll get in a relationship. Will this person be PI? No. So this person's not PI. This person's someone else. So keep on going, keep on following your intuition. It's yeah, it's someone that's a friend of a friend, you know. So Angie says, how will the relationship with P be like? Mars in Sagittarius. I really need to learn a lot more about the star signs. I am very bad at remembering things. I'm Sun Leo, Moon in Virgo. Oh, so a perfectionist and anxious. Anxious perfectionist, Arita. I have a sister and a dad that are Virgo, and because Virgos can be quite perfectionistic, when I'm a Taurus, I get annoyed by them because I can say the same thing as them and they'll go, no, it's different. um, so how will the relationship with P be like? Well, there seems to be a fair judgment about this, so it seems like a fair relationship. However, you won't see them that often. I feel like, you know, there's not as much emotional giving, so you might feel very empty. So there might not be a lot of extra love coming in for you. With the Four of Wands, so this is a possibility of marriage. So I feel like at the end of the day, you could get married to this person, but it feels like you might be like a second person in this relationship, not as like, oh, there's another woman. It might be their mom's a very strong influence here, and so therefore you would be second to their mom. That's a big thing. I feel like there's not enough love to go around. Thank you. No worries, Arita. Have a great sleep. Seva, thank you also for that super chat. How does FA perceive me as a person in my career and as a partner? Okay, so, FA perceive you. Obviously, FA has a very strong caring side when it comes to you. So, FA wants to care for you, protect you, make sure that you never ever get hurt. This is a strong sign that FA really cares for you. As a person, you are very flirtatious, you love talking. Um, I feel like FA is quite quiet compared to you, so it might feel like, can they please shut up? But overall, you're very happy. I don't know whether it's happiness, but you tend to be a very cheerful person. And so, therefore, you always try and make other people happy. And I think words are how you try to make people feel better. Um, as a partner, I feel that you can be very obtuse. So, like, you don't always come across as being the best as a partner. It could just be that you lack the knowledge of being a partner. So, how can I explain this without being quite, you don't know a lot of times what people want, and you expect them to tell you what they want. So you're waiting for them to tell you what they want, and so therefore sometimes they act out, or they, and you don't sit there and go, okay, is everything okay? Like, what do you want me to do in the future? Because sometimes we can all be like that. We're always like, what do you want? What do you need? You know? Um, yeah, so so I would honestly say to you, kind of look at people's cues, but if they expect you to mind read, none of us are mind readers. It's okay. Like, my partner turns around and goes, "Yeah, but you say that you're a psychic." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I still can't really always read your mind. It's not like that." Sometimes I could sit there and go, "Yeah, it's obvious, It's obvious that this is going to happen or that's going to happen." And I'm just like, yeah, I know this is going to happen. But overall, it's just one of those things that if you are completely oblivious and they start, doing these things, then you just need to work on that. Okay, as your career, you are not very focused on your career, and it could just be that a lot of times you're not really working on the networking side of your career. So this is one thing that FA does well. I think FA can walk into a company and find someone that he likes, you know. So he tends to network very easily. You don't. And the cards are saying that you might need to work on that. So I think that FA can get a lot of stuff done because he tends to know how to um I wouldn't say manipulate people. That's not the right word for it, but influence people. And he influences people by his charm. And you don't do that because you're like, okay, I should just be able to work and go home. He uses other people to get him further ahead. So that's one thing that, you fail in at work. and you could actually use people for your own benefit. Now that sounds very slummy, but at the same time, that's the biggest thing. So there you go. Okay. And Rita, Virgo also in Venus. Wow. Okay. That would be interesting. I can see Rita instructing people in the bedroom. No, no, move left, move right. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, Rouge says last question 8. Will my apartment be building phase 2 this year? I feel construction noise and have 9 months left on my lease. Ah, I feel like this is going to keep on going. Um, I think that you can break this clause a little bit early. Rouge, you should actually ask or contact someone. Maybe over here they have citizens bureau, which will give you kind of like advice. But I do feel like if you have had construction noise for like forever, you know, um yeah, it might be for the next 9 months. So I would honestly figure out how to break that clause so you can move. Over here, they've actually said that we can give them 2 months notice. Lotus, thank you so much. I think that's like some construction work done, and then because they've done some construction, they'll do some more construction. So maybe the builders are not being uh like they're being honest, but then someone else will come in. Thank you for the sticker. I definitely appreciate that. It's so cute. Lotus, thank you so much for the super chat. What's Chris' thoughts and intentions towards me at this time? Ooh, we have the caring and protection card. That's always cute when it comes out. I love it. The magician, there's kind of lost imagination there. That is a very good sign that they are very attracted to you. Ace of Pentacles, they definitely want this relationship. Ace of Pentacles is accepting that offer of your heart. Oh, and King of Wands. They are passionate and fiery and definitely very lustful right now. So they're very focused on you. Uh, at the moment, they're kind of going through a phase, and this is an interesting thing because I feel like they're attracted to you, but things are kind of pushing them away. So they've dealt with something and they've kind of escaped from it. So this could be that at the moment you might feel like the rebound from a very serious relationship. Um, because they've escaped. This might be a little bit of a domestic abuse thing. Something that they went through was pretty hard, and so they kind of escaped that. However, I do feel like they're coming in and they're very strong. Um, they're very scared of like the future right now. So this is interesting because we see that they really want this connection, and are very committed to this connection actually, which is a weird thing for them to be very hesitant, very nervous. And Nine of Wands means that good news is coming in for this connection. So I do feel like they realize that they're not going to be in that situation anymore. That And it's a weird thing because I feel that they're very rational, very reliable, and they've realized that this thing that they've gone through will never happen again. So they're very happy about that. And I feel like they really want this connection with you, with the caring and wanting to care and protect someone else is a very good sign that they want you to always be happy and they've accepted that role. And they also are very lustful. They've got their, like, all their energy is directed towards you. So that's a very strong thing. Good night, Cass. Absolutely love being here. These sessions are insightful and fun. No worries, Sebha. Sebha. Um, see, I'm tired too. Seba, thank you so much. Have a good night. Um, I really love being here as well. It's really nice to help everybody out. Thank you, Lotus Rose, for your donation. I hope that helps so much. Does he think I'm dumb? No. Zeba, I would definitely not say that. I would definitely not say that. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay, Energy. Back to Energy's questions. Thank you, everybody, for your super chats. I definitely appreciate them. They help me pay my bills. How does S feel about me? Excitement and slowness. This is an interesting thing, Energy. We don't usually have these together. Ooh, okay, right. I see. It's a push and pull. So this person's very scared of like entering a relationship because they tend to enter relationships quite fast. With this, the feeling of the hangman reverse, they are very scared of this. So they want to do it slowly. However, I do feel like you've excited them so much, they're going to end in this relationship quite fast. Even though they say, no, this is not going to happen again. Like, we're not going to end up like this. I think they will. Based on that they're always excited about a new relationship. So this could be also something that is a red flag is they tend to be excited. So I would honestly say this is a bad thing. Sometimes it shows that someone's maybe addicted to love, not really chasing a person. So that's a hard thing because they could be a forever, sweetheart where they like go, oh, well, I'm not feeling fireworks, but they're addicted to that kind of rush of that cocktail of endorphins that you get when you first like fall in love with someone. And AJ says, which would sell better, the pot organizer or the catcher? Probably the organizer. None of them really look great sales, but the organizer will give you some sales. The rest of them, no. So yeah, yeah. If you're going for any of them, I would say the organizer. Reach, you're very welcome. Okay. Right. What's advice for me how to deal with them? Divine Soul, I nearly missed that one. What's the advice for you to deal with them? Focus on your work. Don't talk to them or kind of disregard them, and kind of be realize to like have your own healthy sense of self. So anything good that comes in, you capture and keep. If anything bad comes in, you discard it. So I feel like the thing of Lion King, Akuna Matata, like no worries, just like go with like um don't deal with things too badly, just kind of go with the flow, you know? Okay, Energy says, when will I get fit? I think you just have to do a little bit every single day and kind of promise yourself to do it. The other thing the cards want to say, Energy, is kind of be around people that are making good decisions with their life. So I would honestly say, Energy, if you want to be fit, hang around your fit friends. If you don't have any fit friends, make some. Because, a lot of times if you're around the people that are not fit, you have a high chance of not ever getting fit. That's a big thing. How will you get that mentally? One thing would be just to like, yeah, kind of decide mentally that there's no other option for you. That's the easiest thing, is like there's no other option. Um, kind of the the strength card in reverse is a very interesting thing. I think that it's telling you not to like focus on weights or anything that's too strenuous. Kind of make it easy for yourself. So it feels too easy to do. So that could be an interesting thing to say. Is like focus on it being easy. And this could be the other thing, is like no other option but easy. Like I walk at least an hour a day and it feels easy to me because, um I always do it, you know. So that can be a big thing. If you're focusing on diet, give yourself no other choice. Like maybe it's not even to buy groceries. It could be like if you have like Weight Watchers, get them to deliver food. So you don't have any other option. The other thing is the lovers. There's someone else out there, like it could be a gym buddy, it could be someone that you love and respect quite a lot, and you could be like, I need to be fit for them, you know. I need to be fit for them because, I want to live long for them, I want to be healthy for them, you know. A lot of times we could give up our goals because we're only focusing on ourselves, you know. That's a big thing. and and other people keep us on track, you know. You're very welcome. It's hard to keep something going. I know that it's hard to keep something going. um but like something like habit stacking, where like let's say every time you have a meal you go for a walk, And this might be that you work at work, and so therefore, like, you might have a 30-minute break. So you eat your lunch. It might be like a sandwich. So make sure it's a light lunch. And then you go walking for 5 minutes. Now, that might not get you fit, but it gives you the habit stack. So you could be like, every single meal you do, you go for a walk. So your brain kind of then cues up that bit to work for yourself. Because a lot of times people go, oh yeah, I'm going to join the gym. The easiest way is, if you want to go to the gym, is kind of hide your other clothes, take out your gym clothes, put your gym shoes next to your bed. So when you get out, you're like, I have to wear my gym clothes. You're like, I'm going to look useless unless I go to the gym. So you go to the gym. See? A lot of times we overthink this, you know? What should I pursue to be happy and successful? Okay, so you have a fair understanding of who you are. And actually, it seems like you need to pursue some kind of inner peace. And this kind of feels like you need to pursue a certain amount of your home is where you feel comfortable. It could be that focus on the little things. It could be gratitude. These don't need to be good things, you know? So it's kind of like happy, successful people are the people that take gratitude, they kind of meditate in their practice. Um Things that kind of give them that stability, that emotional stability. The Hermit in reverse. You're very scared of failure. I think that you've got to realize to fail fast. This doesn't mean fail hard, but the whole idea of like Silicon Valley is fail fast. So it could be just like put something out there, and if it doesn't work, you just fail fast. So therefore, you sit there and go, it doesn't work, try again. It doesn't work, try again. So you're not really putting too much out there. So you're not like betting on the pony that, like all your money goes on one pony. You're just like, okay, whatever, 100, so and so. Like I would say £100, but that's a little bit a lot of money. But at the end of the day, you're not gonna cry about it. You're gonna be like, okay, I've failed. Let's try again. You know, that's what I would say. I am going to finish up, I think. Did everyone have a good night? I hope I helped you, Anna J. I think that you had a lot of questions that I understand completely. Let me know how your fitness journey goes. One thing that really helped me was I got like a fitness tracker. So I'm kind of looking at that. I'm also kind of looking at how our nomadic ancestors would have done things. So the whole idea is looking up their lifestyle and how much they would have walked and exercised during the day, because I was like, this is interesting. So that was a big thing. For our ancestors that were nomadic and traveled, so they walked for like 6 kilometers to 16 kilometers per day, which was interesting. I was like, that's a very interesting thing where you're going, okay. Obviously, 16 kilometers would be when they would have traveled to another place. So I was like, okay, maybe I have to do that on the weekend. One of the big things that I was learning about was glucose and how glucose has a very role to play on putting on like fats, um, things like fructose, um, are the way that our body stores fat. So you can sit there and go, if something's not in season, I'm not going to eat it. So therefore, you have seasonal food. It was the thing is for me, learning is very important when it comes to things. So I don't know. You might find it fascinating. But I will see you guys tomorrow. That's the hope. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye, guys. Bye bye.